Welcome to the Sanctuary. I'm Kyle, and I'm here to tell you, never be afraid to step into the pleasure den of the absurd. So right now, I'm going to show off a little record I got the other day. A soundtrack that was just released by Mondo and Death Waltz Recording Company. And that is the soundtrack to the TOHO 1956 Kaiju movie Rodan. And I've been very excited to wait for this to be released when I saw that it was going to be upcoming on the next round of soundtracks from Death Waltz by Maestro Akira Ifukube. So just to give you some context onto my interest and knowledge of Ifukube, well, you know, like any other kid growing up in the 70s, we were fascinated and entertained by the various Kaiju movies of TOHO Movie Picture Corporation, and one of the things that we really enjoyed about these movies was this dynamic music that went along with the monster action and whatnot. I mean, at that time, I certainly was not an avid listener nor interested in hearing you know, what would be considered classical music, you know. I didn't mind these instruments being used, you know, with the Beatles songs or that kind of a thing. But this, you know, was different. This music really, I mean, and also too, just to put it in further context, this music by Ifukube is not that much different stylistically than the dramatic music of the horror films of the 1930s, you know, or 1940s even too, with Universal. You know, all those types of monster movies and horror movies, you know, had very dramatic strings and dun dun dun, you know, music that, you know, really helped set the scene of what you're seeing on the screen. And, you know, getting back to Akira Ifukube, he never really considered his music scores to be of any general interest of listening to outside of the context of being in the film. You know, he wrote film music. And here's a little tidbit too that's kind of humorous. There was a film, I believe it was 1964's Mothra vs. Godzilla. Anyway, there was a film where the director, Ishiro Honda, wanted Ifukube to put some music into a particular scene. I forget what it was. And Ifukube essentially refused. He felt that the scene itself didn't need any music to enhance it. And so when they were at the premiere and watching the movie and that particular scene came on the screen, well, Honda put in a cue of music, you know, and put it in the way he had wanted it. And Ifukube apparently, like, you know, was sitting a few seats down from him and looked at him And Ishiro Honda knew he was looking at him and just like, you know. And that's just a funny thing. So anyway, over the years, I've gotten the soundtracks on CD by Ifukube, you know, from the 50s through the 70s, and also all the stuff that he did in the 1990s. And I love it. And so, again, I was very excited for Rodan to come out. And so I just wanted to show you the record. We have side 2 playing now. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's on a multicolored vinyl, 140 gram. The original score from 1956. And it's actually a good movie too. Rodan kind of freaked us out as little kids. And you know, it has to do with these miners who, you know, are going down in the mines, and this one particular guy is like, one guy doesn't come back. They go looking for another guy that's missing. They find him, and he's in shock and whatever. And you know, it turns out that you know, there was some creatures living way down there, and there's a scene where like they're like sort of like bug-like caterpillars or larvae or something, you know. It's disgusting. And they eventually come out of the entrance of the mine and start, you know, terrorizing people and eating them. And then, to their horror, a pterodactyl comes out of there and starts eating those larvae. And not only is there one, but there's two. So there's a Mr. and Mrs. Rodan. And it's I really enjoyed the soundtrack. Here's the you got the people on the bottom. This is the artwork, and you'll see the jets flying around, and the pterodactyl. And I don't know what the Japanese writing says. There's the other pterodactyl, and there's the people, and it gives you the track listing right there. I hope you can see that. And so I'll just give a brief description. If you really can't hear the music too well, I don't know how it's going to come out on this video, but it's, you know, being in 1956, it's pretty contemporary classical music of the time, you know. And one thing that I really enjoy about Ifukube's music is the way he blends all of these instruments together. Like, so he's got an orchestra, and the percussion section is great, and he's got, you know, brass and woodwinds. And so, like, you know, you've got he did a lot of military marches. Like, there's one going on now, I don't know if you can hear it, but a lot of snare work, you know, and bop, and a lot of accents. And with these accents, you know, there would be smashing of piano keys, just, and with that, you know, you got timpanis and drums and, you know, cymbals and and other cymbals going on. So, like, in scenes where, you know, there's destruction, the pterodactyl's flying, and you know, houses are being ripped apart and people are flying all over in the air, you know, it's very dramatic, and it does fit what's going on the screen. And as use of low-toned instruments like trombones and bass bassoons and or, you know, bass clarinets and bassoons, and very menacing and rumbling, and along with the piano, because sometimes he would just take a chord and make it rumble, and it's just very dramatic, and it suits, and it, I like it. I mean, it listening to the music is, for me, very pleasurable. It doesn't set me up on edge or anything, although if perhaps if you were younger and in the dark, and somebody plays it for you, you might get a little scared, but I enjoyed it, again, just for the the use of timbres, and the way everything blends together. And with Ifukube too, not only did he have the menacing, rumbling themes and the military marches, when the planes are firing off and everything. Then there's that sweet, violin. You'll hear it on the closing track of this soundtrack. And quite frankly, the one thing I really enjoy about all these soundtracks is the closing track, because lots of times the movies would just end, just say the end, and you would have this nice symphonic chord that would just fade out and just stop, and then that would be it. There would be no end credits. Sometimes if there was, they were very brief. The majority of the credits were in the beginning of the movies. That's why the main themes are a little bit longer. Again, Rodan is out. If you're a fan of the movie, or just collecting the soundtracks on LP, well, this is a good one for you. And I hope that you enjoy it. And with that, I'll be doing another Mondo Death Waltz Ifukube soundtrack video. I decided to split them up so they're not so long. A near and dear friend of mine told me, my videos are too long. But so I'll try and keep this one short. Right now we're over the 12-minute mark, so I urge you to listen to some Ifukube. I'll put a link in the description of this video so you can hear it for yourself. And in the thumbnail, you'll see what the vinyl looks like. It's really nice, and again, 140 grams. So these recordings, all so far of the Mondo Death Waltz Ifukube soundtrack releases on vinyl, sound great. Luckily there hasn't been any skips, on a brand new record. God, don't you hate that? Buy a brand new record and there's a skip in it. But the fidelity on them is very nice, and it sounds great. And I'm looking forward to their future releases of Ifukube, so check out Mondo Death Waltz website, see what's coming up, see what they have. I did a video on other Death Waltz releases that I have, and you can check that out as well as the one that will be coming up. So with that, never be afraid of giant monsters from Japan. Listen to Akira Ifukube, and never be afraid to step into the pleasure den of the absurd.